Hello and welcome to round 3 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Following on from the spectacle of racing under lights in Sydney, we now head north to Queensland for the first of our back-to-back rounds in the Sunshine State. The layout of Queensland Raceway, situated 45 minutes west of Brisbane, may look simple, but this track is extremely hard to master and has been the scene of many battles since the first ASBK race here 25 years ago.
Well, Chris, it's a little bit nostalgic this weekend for us. 25 years Queensland Raceway's been open and we were at the first ASBK event.
Yeah, I know, it was a long time ago, wasn't it, Steve? We're showing our age now, but it is a cool racetrack. It sort of looks like it's simple. It is quite easy to learn, but a really hard track to go faster. You know how to go quick around here.
Well, let's see if we do. One of my favourite turns, though, is this turn 1, the Tech Air 5 Alpine Stars corner, because it's so fast on the entry and you've really got to keep that momentum up.
Well, it is. There's a few bumps on the way in as well. It looks like it's an overtaking opportunity, but if you want to make that move, it is a big move, and you can end up in that gravel trap very easily.
It is all about the flow, isn't it? You really do need to keep the flow up at this circuit, and it's difficult to find bike setup too.
You need to keep the flow up in this part of the track, I reckon. When we get around the other part, down the far end, it's a little bit more stop-start. So you're right with the bike setup. Do you get it working here, or do you want it to be strong on the brakes further down there?
Well, let's go and have a look.
Well, turn 3 here, Steve, at Queensland Raceway, AMMF turn. It is very different to turn 1 and 2 we were just looking at. It's all about the braking and the entry into this turn, is that right?
Absolutely. If sector 1 is the fast sector, well, this is the business sector. It really is. It's all about getting on the brakes. You come down that back straight at 280 kilometres an hour on the Superbike. Hit the brakes. You take a deep breath going in there because you don't think you're going to pull it up. It looks tight at that speed, but when you actually get here, you know what? It's actually quite flowing, so you've got to keep that mid-corner speed flow up.
It is, you're exactly right. When you turn into this turn, it does look like it tightens up, but it really opens out, and the drive out of here is important as well. But what I've noticed, Steve, new surface in the middle of this corner, so is that going to make a difference?
Well, you know what? I mean, if you feel the surface, it's actually really, really grippy. So these guys are going to have to adapt to that, take a little bit of time to get used to it, but I reckon we're going to see some lap records get broken.
Oh, that'll be cool.
The riders will have to muscle their way through those 2 left-hand corners and get down that straight and into Ducati, the final turn here.
It is really important to get out of that corner and get the drive because it is a reasonably long straight into this corner, Steve. But again, what I'm noticing, new surface in this corner. Like we know, it is the last corner of the racetrack. It is very important and it has been decisive in the past.
Well, remember last year, Herfoss, Jones, it came down to this corner for victory. And boy, the guy that went in didn't come out leading the race. So it can make a big difference.
It is a unique corner in the fact that it looks like a hairpin as well, Steve, but it's a very, very long hairpin, isn't it? So there are line options. You can go, do you dive in, run the bike wide and shoot it out, or do you carry the speed through the middle? Because like I say, it is a long corner, and what's important, Steve, is to get the drive out of this final turn to the finish line.
Well, there you have it, Chris. The Ducati track preview, done and dusted here at Queensland Raceway. Can't wait to get the racing underway.
Well, we are getting ready for the second race for the Race and Road Supersport 300 category. And Steve Martin, yesterday afternoon we saw an absolutely phenomenal race with, in the end, a 4-lap sprint to decide the results. And it was Josh Newman that took the win over another Kawasaki rider in Harry Watts. But in this race, Valentino Knežević will start from pole position. Ryan Larkin out of 2, and Will Nassib joins them on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, Casey Middleton, Josh Newman, who rode so well yesterday, and Harrison Watts on row 2. Row 3 is Calvin Moylan, Geordie Simpson, and Mitch Simpson from South Australia. Row 4, Jesse Stroud from New Zealand, famous Andrew Stroud, his dad. Ryder Gilbert from South Australia in 11th, and also Tara Moran. A lot of South Australians here this weekend. Starts on that last spot on the 4th row of the grid.
Yeah, how Tara Morrison's managed to recover so quickly from that broken collarbone. She is the new Iron Lady for me after that performance. Broke the collarbone, what would it be, 5 or 6 weeks ago, Steve? Back here racing already after having it played it, and was well and truly in the race yesterday. Finished in the 7th place in the restarted race after that earlier red flag. It was 106 points. He was tied for the lead with Harry Watts coming into this round as well. So we're ready to go racing. Race and Road Supersport. Supersport 300 is go. Good start from Knežević on the pole position on bike number 48 as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. Harry Watts pulls out, but I'll tell you what, both Newman and Watts are coming from a fair way back. They were trying to find position as they made their way down into Alpine Stars corner for the first time. But it is Valentino that leads at the moment as they come through Michelin corner and head up the back straight. Great start too from Will Nassif on board bike number 65. As he tries to utilise the slipstream. There's Watts on board bike number 14. That's the Champions Ride Day machine. And also Josh Newman on the Wet For You Kawasaki around the outside to take the lead into turn 3. That's an audacious move early on.
Yeah, it certainly is. Ryder Gilbert, he got a great start as well from the South Australian. Put himself onto the back of that leading pack, which is where he needs to be. You really got to try and stay in that lead group. If you get dropped off the lead group here, you're in trouble because this is a track, you want to call it a super slipstream track for these bikes.
Looks like the Simpson brothers, both Geordie and Mitch, are well placed there. You can pick them out. The Simpsons, not surprisingly, are on the yellow machines as they make their way down towards Ducati corner now. And it is Newman that's in front. Knežević in third position with Ryan Larkin coming up the inside. Fourth will be Will Nassif. Harry Watts has dropped back to 5th position on board that Champions Ride Day machine, bike number 15. Casey Middleton also in the battle as well on the Race DNA machine. You can see him there, bike number 20, just ahead of the first of the Simpson brothers, which is the older brother Mitch on board bike number 66. Then it's Geordie Simpson behind on 33. Calvin Moylan in 20 on bike number 27 in 9th position, and Ryder Gilbert that you mentioned before, Steve, rounds out that top 10 with Jesse Stroud on the 127 machine right with them as well as they go down the back straight.
Now keep an eye on Jesse Stroud because he was so strong yesterday, but unfortunately he got taken out, got caught up in an incident, so he didn't get to finish the race, but he was super quick yesterday. He's down in the pack at the moment in 12th. But I'll tell you what, it won't be long to be making his way forward.
Well, remember he turned up at Sydney Motorsport Park, had never raced Sydney Motorsport Park, and first race in the Supersport 300 category, takes the race win by an extremely small margin at the line. But it is Newman that's maintaining the lead at the moment. And as we saw last year at Queensland Raceway in the Race and Road Supersport 300 category, they just swap and change positions throughout the entire race. It's who's the smartest on the last half of the lap that will take this race win.
No, absolutely.
As Larkin goes back into the lead.
He does. You just got to basically stay in that lead group, keep your nose clean, try and save your energy because the last couple of laps are going to be nuts.
So 1:27.816, the fastest lap, just been reduced now on that first flying lap down to a 1:22. So they've taken 5 seconds off on the first flying lap from the lap from a standing start.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Race directions saying the start is under investigation. That normally means there could have been a jump start, so there may be some penalties put out to some people out there. How
keen was Ryan Larkin to utilise the slipstream there? He slipped around the outside and he was leading as they came onto the straight. He's now gone way back. I think that was Larkin. May have got nerfed off the inside of the track. No, it looks like it could be Casey Middleton.
It is Larkin,
bike number 68.
That was a big one.
Looks like he was on the brakes and then got shoved off the outside of the track.
Yeah, he did. Lost the front, then went over the top there. So unfortunately, all over for Ryan Larkin. But I mean, that's what happens. 5 wide going into there. It's tricky.
What was it you mentioned before, Steve, about keeping your nose clean?
Yeah.
So it is now Harry Watts that is out front on board bike number 14. His team manager, Brendan Clark, will be happy with that result. Of course, Brendan Clark made a name for himself here at Queensland Raceway on board a 250 production machine. Wasn't much longer and he was racing 500 Grand Prix for the Shell Advance Honda team. And now his young protege, Harry Watts, is leading this race. Yeah, it's cost him a position too. It's actually cost him 2 positions because both race DNA machines have managed to side their way through Michelin corner.
Looks like...
How was the slipstream advantage for Harry Watts there? See how much extra speed he had when he pulled out from the back of Stroud's machine?
Yeah, it's huge. It really is. When they spread out like that, it makes a massive slipstream effect for the people in the following group. They really do get that burst of speed.
So many lines coming out of turn 3, the AWMF corner, as they make their way down towards Honda. They were utilising all of the track and then possibly even a little bit more down that straight.
Now, we know the Simpsons are doing the ProMX next weekend. Maybe all of these guys should do it. They're taking that many different lines. It's incredible.
Is that the 2 race DNA machines are now up into the lead with Middleton and Moylan?
We'd written them off half a second ago, haven't we?
So Jason from Race DNA will be doing cartwheels down pit lane at the moment as his 2 riders are holding down the lead, as Valentino Knežević has moved up into 3rd position on board the Motor City entry, bike number 48. We look back to the rider in 4th position would be Josh Newman, but that's going to change as soon as they came out onto the straight. Harry Watts tries to take advantage of the slipstream. Stroud in there as well in 4th position now.
Yeah, you want to be in about the top 5 now. If you can keep yourself in the top 5 for the next couple of laps, that's going to give you an opportunity to get victory. If you're at the back of the pack now, it's going to be hard work. Definitely going to be hard work, but you can just see there, Valentino pulls out of the slipstream on the number 48. But look how far back Stroud comes from. Surely he's got to go wide, and he does.
There was no way in the world he could get that bike stopped and turn before he had to try and change direction and go back towards turn 4. He did the first round on a Kawasaki Ninja 400 as well, so he's showing great pace on whatever bike he manages to jump on. This round, as you mentioned, Steve, on the R3. But down into turn 4 we go now, and it is one of the race DNA machines, bike number 20 that leads. That is Casey Middleton. Casey Middleton has won a race, I think, in this championship previously as well. So as Newman now goes back into the lead on the way down the back straight and towards Ducati corner.
Oh.
But then the race DNA riders, both of them fight back with a vengeance, but it was Middleton that ran wide and Newman back into the lead.
Wow, that was tight. Things are starting to amp up now. Newman, when he puts his mind to it, he's so strong in the corners. He breaks all the way to the middle and he just uses the size of his body. He's probably not the right size to be riding these smaller bikes, but he just uses the strength that he's got to like just make the bike work and go around the corners. Look at the stance of his arms. He's got quite a good style about him. I do like it.
Well, and how he manages to origami himself down behind the screen as they make their way down the back straight. Look at that. It's bike number 27, Calvin Moylan, that utilises the slipstream early on, but Harry Watts comes back on the brakes after utilising his slip. Bike is all over the show from Harry Watts there. You can see it moving around as they make their way down into turn 3. Now, there is a tyre battle in this class as well. Harry Watts is actually on Dunlop tyres and a lot of the field on Pirellis as well. So there is a real tyre battle going on at the front.
Yeah. And
that's Stroud back into the lead now, momentarily. How
wide was that rider? I couldn't catch the number of it. Is that rider Gilbert that's run wide off the back of the group there? But,
so they'll come round to get the last lap board at the end of this lap, Steve. So this is the real business end of the race. As Stroud goes back into the lead, it's going to be who's going to be the smartest over this last 3.1 kilometres.
Well, I reckon it's Josh Newman because he's in the right spot now. About 3rd or 4th, you want to be about there, and from this point, start working your way to the front.
And look who's arrived on the back of that lead group as well. Tara Morrison on board bike number 95. The Fearless Motorcycles, the fearless rider from South Australia, riding with a freshly plated collarbone, and she's arrived in that lead group at perfect time as they start the last lap on this second race for the Race and Road Supersport 300 category here at Queensland Raceway, and it is Valentino Knežević that was in the lead. Newman utilises the slipstream. Who's going to be strong on the brakes as they come down into turn 3 on this final time? Stroud has a big lunge, so does Harry Watts, but it's Newman that maintains that lead. Question is, Steve, can he hold it through turn 4 and 5?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now. We've got a couple of very heavy braking corners to decide this one as they head down into turn 4, the Honda corner. Hard on the brakes it is, up the inside, and it is...
It's Knežević that takes the lead from Newman, so Newman perfectly placed now to utilise the slipstream down the inside as they come to the final corner, Ducati corner.
Well,
but charging hard from behind as well, we've got Will Nassif on board bike number 65 and Stroud.
Yeah, Nassif up through the middle. What a move.
So Knežević will lead them out of the final corner. Newman will have to utilise the slipstream. I don't think Stroud and Nassif are going to be able to do it. And it is Valentino Knežević that is going to take the win over Josh Newman in second position. What a great ride from Valentino there on the Motor City entry. Oh, a bit of contact there from those riders as they come across the line as well. That was bike number 43.
John Pelgrave.
John Pelgrave just holding off Oliver Short and Lincoln Knight as they came to the line. Right behind them was William Hunt on board bike number 46. Then Mitch Simpson should come across the line in 15th position.
What a great win by Valentino. He's come on so strong this year. Started in the OJC Cup many years ago. He was half the size when he started riding those little 150s. He's quite tall now, but he loves riding in this championship, and he loves that bike, and he's in a real good spot of form at the moment. So, such a good ride from him, and you can see how happy he is there doing a little bit of a wheelie. There's your results. Valentino Knežević takes the win from Josh Newman. Will Nassif, great ride by him. He was good on the brakes. Jesse Stroud had to work his way through. Harrison Watts was up there at times too. Calvin Moylan, good ride by him. Tara Morrison made her way forward. And Casey Middleton in 8th. Ryder Gilbert, the other South Australian, in 9th.
Geordie Simpson rounds out the top 10. That is Valentino Knežević's second race win for the year as well. Of course, he took the race win in the final race at Sydney Motorsport Park last time out. So a great result there for Valentino to move to the top of the race at the exact point where he wanted to be there, and that was at the end. But he did leave several times throughout the race too, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. He proved how strong he was there. Lincoln Knight there as well. Oliver Short, good result by him. Mitch Simpson, well, he finished down the pack. He couldn't keep the speed up. Oscar Lewis there. Mitchell Cartwright. Mark Shaw finished in 18th. That was a good ride by him.
Well, Mark Shaw's first ever visit to Queensland Raceway as well. Got a few helpful tips from Terry Ford. Hunter Ford's dad over his gearing on the weekend has continued to improve his lap times over every single race. But there is your race leader, Valentino Knežević, on the Motor City machine, bike number 48, taking his second race win from the year, and celebrates with a pretty spectacular wheelie, Steve, as he makes his way into pit lane. Oh, that's worth a couple of extra championship points alone.
Yeah, you think so. Look at that. There's Marcus Amod giving him a bit of a hug. Those are the best of mates, aren't they?
And I don't know if he's talking about the race or the wheelie into pit lane.
Probably a bit of both.
Well, I reckon Valentino could get a job with those stunt riders as well. Let's go down to Chris Vermeulen, and he's with our very excited top 3.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am down here with third place man, Will Nassif. It all happened in the last turn. Got yourself on the podium after yesterday. Jump start, you told me, so making amends for it.
I was lead. Oh, well, I wasn't leading. I was up the front most of the race, and I think 2 or 3 laps to go, I somehow decided to go to the outside of. I was 3 wide in turn 5, hit the ripple strip and lost all the drive, and I dropped back to I think 9th. So it was pretty hard to make it back to the front. I was hoping I could have got a win, but we still got another race to try. And yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for making this possible, like Dad, Maurice, JJ, Damo for the week before from Motorstars, and yeah, everyone that's made this possible.
Congratulations, mate. Good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
That's our third place man. Second place, Josh Newman. Another podium. You extend the championship lead, I believe, so congratulations.
Yeah, it's awesome to get a few points on Harry. It was a really hard race, back and forth, led a few laps, but just didn't get the best run at the line, and Tino just got me, but we got one more race at Savo. Just want to give a huge thanks to everyone that helps me out, Addicted to Track, Weddy, Mum, Pop, Luke, Arai, Ixon, Port Bike, iSafe, and everyone else that helps out. Thanks so much.
Well, congratulations, mate. Good luck this afternoon.
Thanks, mate.
There you go. That's our second place man. And the winner, Valentino Knežević. That was fantastic racing. The way you managed that race on that last lap, well done.
Yeah, you know, like with 3 laps to go, I was sitting towards the back of the group. I was like, oh, I need to start making my way forward like I always do. I did it at Eastern Creek as well at round 2, and managed to make my way all the way to the front and just made sure I stayed at the front to the last lap.
Well, can you do it again this afternoon?
Yeah, hopefully. We're starting on pole, so that makes my race a heap lot easier. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone, all my family who have come up from New South Wales, all my sponsors and Yamaha, because to be able to make this bike work against the 400s is very hard, but I managed to do it, and yeah, it works well.
Oh, congratulations, mate. Good luck later on.
Thank you.
There you go. That's our podium. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Chris. Congratulations to Valentino Knežević, who takes the win over Josh Newman and Will Nassif. We need to take a breather after a very exciting race and road Supersport 300 race. Plenty more action coming up from Queensland Raceway after this short break. Well, one race left on today's program, Steve, and it is the final race for the Blue Crew Junior Cup. 2 wins for 2 starts so far for Hunter Corney. Can he make it 3? Can he do a Mike Jones-esque performance? Well, Sam Phillips at the front of the grid with his famous red flag, indicating that we're just about ready to go racing. Six laps is the duration. The riders, it has been confirmed, are all on wet weather tyres. There's obviously going to be some wet patches around this circuit. We saw the rain was relatively heavy. Blue Crew Junior Cup is go. Great start once again for both the riders on positions 1 and 2, Hunter Charlotte and also Ethan Johnson, who got off to a pretty good start. Hunter Charlotte on board bike number 73 will lead them down through turn 1 for the first time. Well, you can see there, she's very wet through turn 1.
Yeah.
Look at the spray coming up, Steve.
Yeah, 100% wet weather tyres there. That's exactly what they needed. And now these guys haven't had a lot of wet weather experience, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go. But you can just see there, number 16 going all the way around the outside. That's an incredible amount of speed that Rossi McAdam's showing there.
Well, a lot of these riders are actually ex-dirt trackers and flat trackers, so they probably will love a little bit of unpredictability in the surface conditions to really bring out those skills.
Look at the difference there. The sun's beaming down on that part of the circuit.
Track looks perfectly dry.
Yeah.
And then we know that it was raining quite heavily up at turn 6 because that's where Brock Pearson's fan club was situated, and they were packing up under considerable rain. But as we head down to turn 4 now on this first lap, it is Connor Lewis and Nicholas Lazos that you can see there with the 2 red helmets on. They're sitting back there in, is it 3rd and 4th position? No, that's 4th and 5th position.
Definitely,
because out to a very handy lead is Hunter Charlotte.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, isn't he, out there in front at the moment?
Well, he's also 2nd in the championship as well, Hunter Charlotte, so important for him to get good championship points here. Try to reel back in the leader, Hunter Corney, who you can see Corney there on board bike number 40 in 2nd place in the race. But look at this lead from Hunter Charlotte after only 1 lap. They come across the line. It's going to be out to about 1.5 seconds as they come across the line, Steve.
Yeah, it's unheard of in this class.
A 49.3 on a wet track on wets from a standing start.
Yeah, pretty impressive. One of the riders just looks like they missed the start and coming out of the pit lane. So unfortunately for them, obviously they'll get to ride, but they won't feature in the race results.
So around the outside, is that Lazos trying to go around the outside? It is on board bike number 11. Couldn't quite get around the outside of Connor Lewis. Hunter Charlotte's lead starting to open out a little bit more. 2.2 seconds it was as they went across the start-finish line. It's now out to 3 seconds as they go through the end of intermediate number 1. Connor Lewis in 2nd, Lazos in 3rd, Rossi McAdam 4th, Hunter Corney back to 5th place. Phoenix O'Brien, obviously a very skilled dirt tracker, is now up to 6th position. Augustus O'Halloran up to 7th. Ethan Johnson's gone back to 8th place. Jed Louis in 9th. And Ethan Pelgrave rounds out that top 10.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned too much about Phoenix O'Brien before, so it's good to see him up there, and the skills that he's got riding off-road are obviously helping him here.
So he's 9 seconds behind the race lead, so he will be the next rider through. There he is in that little group with, it's Augustus O'Halloran now that's gone up to the lead of that group with Phoenix O'Brien swapping positions. 6th and 7th they are. Almost dry there at Ducati corner turn 6. Out past the Pirelli signs we go, and onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight. That will be 2 laps down.
Hunter Charlotte, wow, he's doing a great job. He's like 2 seconds, more than 2 seconds lap quicker than the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, 1:41.654 on the first flying lap. Just have a look at the times that they were doing on the dry slick tyres. 1:35.3 was the fastest lap in qualifying for Hunter Corney.
That's pretty impressive then.
So only 6 seconds a lap slower on the wet tyres with wet track at probably about what, a third of the track, Steve. So especially through this very fast corner, it's probably one of the fastest corners on, or if not the fastest corner on the track.
Absolutely.
Turn 2, and it's probably the wettest corner on the track.
That corner would be flat out on these bikes. It's a 200-kilometre-an-hour corner when you're going through it flat out. So these things, you know, they go a lot slower than that. So they would be flat out through there.
Get them tucked down behind the screen, and they get on the brakes now down at AWMF corner turn 3. Big move on the brakes there. Just trying to see who that was coming up the inside on the brakes. I think it might have been 68. That's Henry Hind. Big move there from Henry on the brakes down into... well, that corner's now covered in shadows too, Steve. So it's going to make it even harder to try and decipher what the track conditions are, also where the braking markers are.
Yeah, exactly. Especially you get those shadows, and you can just see now, like it was just, although it came down pretty heavy for a short period of time, the track's warm, so that means the tyres are going to stay warm. These wet weather tyres are designed to work in perhaps wetter conditions than these, so these guys should have reasonably good feel from the tyres that they've got on board.
So giving the Dunlop Wets a serious workout on a couple of dry sections of the track as well.
They should be able to handle it though, for sure. Because these bikes aren't like wheel spinning monsters that are going to spin the wheels to oblivion and rip the tread off. You know, perhaps on a superbike in these conditions you'd be in trouble, but with the way it is at the moment, you know, I think that these guys should have just, you know, some really good feel out there. And the way that you can tell that is, you know, touching wood. Everyone's still upright at the moment, so the tyres are working great.
Well, and also the fact that when they get to that very wet part of the circuit, there's enough water to cool the tyres back down again, as Nicholas Lazos has a big lunge on the brakes to move up one position there.
Not as big as Hunter Corney, though. He's found something there.
Well, Corn's on a charge now, and he's heading back. Oh, we've got one down, it looks like, on... that looks like he's at turn 3. He's gone a long way into the gravel trap there. Or is that actually turn 2?
Yeah.
Could be Motorcycling Australia corner 2.
Turn 1, I think.
Turn 1, that's another fast corner.
That's actually Hunter Charlotte that's gone down.
Oh no, the race leader has crashed. Race leader has crashed at turn 1. That means that this battle now between Hunter Corney, Rossi McAdam, Nicholas Lazos and Connor Lewis is actually for the race win. So Corney playing his cards very, very smartly. He's not the championship leader for no good reason, as around the outside goes Rossi McAdam on board for the 16 machine. Actually, if Nicholas Lazos can get up on the podium, this will be his first ever podium. I know he started off the year with some pretty good form, but I don't think he's been on the podium at any race that I can remember in the Oceania Blue Crew Junior Cup.
I thought he went pretty good in Sydney. So check that out. I feel he went good in Sydney.
So around through this very fast area that claimed our early race leader we go. Round the outside, look at the corner momentum carried there by Rossi McAdam. Obviously got a fair bit of confidence on bike number 16. Exactly what he did on the first lap of the race, I think it was, Steve, when you called it, going around the high, wide line through turn 2.
I mean, see how wet it is up there, and here it's dry. Tricky conditions for these guys.
So on the brakes we go at the very last minute. McAdam had the foot dangle happening down into AWMF corner, trying to get the last little bit out of the brakes. Lazos up into 3rd place. Connor Lewis holding on to 4th. Then they've got a 12-second gap back to Phoenix O'Brien and Augustus O'Halloran, who are battling for 5th and 6th. Then another 3 seconds back to Jed Louis in 7th place, who's got a 1.5 second advantage over Ethan Pelgrave in 8th, Ethan Johnson in 9th, and Adam Jordan rounds out the top 10 with Henry Hind, Elijah Andrew, Zach Russo and Zane Beckensdale rounding out the other field of riders that took to the track in this final race for the round for the Blue Crew Junior Cup. He's still corny, though.
Hey?
Still corny that's holding down that lead.
Yeah, it is. And he's tiny, isn't he? I just having a look at him on that bike. He fits in behind that screen like way better than Rossi McAdam, as an example.
Quite handy on an Avale GP2 as well, Steve. Won the GP0 series last year, doing a great job. And also doing a really good job on board the GP2s in his first year on the bigger Avales as well. Oh, around the outside. Is that McAdam again? Yes,
Yep.
It is.
He knows the line.
Oh, well, he's getting better and better at it as this race goes on. This is the final lap. No better time to pull out the unbelievable high-wide line on turn 2 and take the race lead. But Corny comes back as they make their way down to turn 3. Corny's got the inside line. Unfortunately for Rossi McAdam, there's no more turn 2s left that he can pull a manoeuvre like that on, but maybe he can do it at turn 6. He's going to have to be in a good position and play this last couple of corners very smart as we go towards the 2 left-handers now. He needs to get the drive out of Racing Road as he leaves Lazos and Lewis, the 2 red-helmeted riders, to battle for the last place on the podium.
Absolutely. He's got a little bit of a lead now, has Hunter Corny. Gets through there okay, through turn 4.
Bit of a moment there for Rossi McAdam. I think he's just got the warning that he was pushing about as hard as he's prepared to go.
It's going to come down to this final corner in the slipstream. And Connor Lewis is up the inside. One rider pulled over to the left there, but it's pretty spread out. Hunter Corny's gone in deep, and he's managed to keep it on the inside line there. So he's looking pretty good.
So Corny comes out in the lead. It is Rossi McAdam in second, but has Connor Lewis got the drive as they come out of the corner? I think Connor Lewis may just steal second right on the line as they come across the line. It is Connor Lewis that steals second position off Rossi McAdam. It was the great drive out of the final corner that got him there. Fastest lap of the race by Hunter Corny on the last lap, a 1:40.545, a 1:40.565 for Connor Lewis on the last lap. But Hunter Corny, the perfect weekend in Queensland, pole position and 3 race wins, and extends his lead in the Oceania Blue Crew Junior Cup. The win eventually 0.6 of a second over Connor Lewis, and that margin between Lewis and McAdam, Steve, absolutely nothing in it.
No, it was so close. You know, those guys gave it everything that they had. You know, it was an incredible race, and I mean, what a mix of conditions they've had over the course of the weekend as well. So, you know, good race for Hunter Corny, good weekend for Hunter Corny, good weekend for Connor Lewis. Rossi McAdam, Nicholas Lazos unfortunately missed out on that podium that he's been chasing, but, you know, Phoenix O'Brien, what a great ride he had. Augustus O'Halloran, Jed Lewis, Ethan Pelgrave following in his brother's footsteps.
Well, and just look at the difference between O'Brien and O'Halloran. We called it early on that they were battling out there on track. There was nothing between them, and they continued in that vein all the way to the checkered flag. Well, plenty more action coming up here from Queensland Raceway. Racing Road Supersport 300 up next. Well, welcome back to Queensland Raceway. The action has been absolutely sensational, and Supersport 300 class up next. Always the purveyor of great racing action here, especially at this circuit. Very, very simple in the layout, but so tricky to master. And it's great to see that Tara Morrison is back in the Supersport 300 field. We missed her at Eastern Creek. She was out with injury. Steve Martin caught up with her.
Tara, I've got to say that we were super excited at watching you race at Phillip Island. It was incredible. Well, you got your first podium there, second in that second race, and dicing for the lead. I mean, it was looking like a cracker start to the year. We all got to Sydney Motorsport Park, and you weren't there.
No.
What happened?
No, unfortunately not. I started the year off really well at my favourite track, but in a state round in between the 2 ASBK rounds, I unfortunately broke my collarbone and had to get surgery on that. But I got surgery on that. I'm doing lots of physio training and work, and I'm slowly building myself back up again.
Yeah, they build them tough in South Australia. How many times have you been on the bike before you got here this weekend?
Well, I've been trying to stay off of it a bit to let it rest. I had surgery about a month ago, so I had a ride day out last Sunday, and that was about it, and now I'm here racing again.
And is it feeling strong out there now?
Yeah, I'm trying to push it a little bit. It feels all right. I've been putting in the work to make it feel good this weekend, but I think I just got to get over the mental step of getting back into the racing and pull my finger out.
You look like you're fully into this racing. I mean, I know after speaking to your dad a few hours ago, you didn't even know what the ASBK Championship was 2 years ago. What's your path been to get into this championship?
Oh, I don't know. Dad kind of I rode Speedway when I was 5 years old with Arthur CCs and everything, but when I turned 16, Dad bought me a 250 and we rode that out at Port Gawler a couple of times and started getting my knee down. I'm like, let's go. And then we just started going through club, state, and now we're here, and yeah, couldn't be happier.
All right, fantastic. Good luck to you and the team this weekend. Great job.
Cheers, thank you.
And he will start this race from pole position. So can he make it another win this weekend? Of course, the first race in the other afternoon was taken by bike number 17, Josh Newman. So they're one apiece. Ryan Larkin and Will Nassif will also start from that front row of the grid, with Middleton, race 1 winner Newman, and Harry Watts starting out of row number 2. Calvin Moylan, Jordan Simpson and Mitch Simpson out of row 3, with Jesse Stroud, Ryder Gilbert and Tara Morrison, who you just spoke to, Steve Martin, starting out of row number 4.
Yeah, she's a brave one, isn't she, Tara? Good to see her back in the mix. John Pelgrave, Lincoln Knight and Oliver Short start from row 5. Row 6, Will Hunt, Alexander Cody. Hopefully he's got his bike going again, and Oscar Lewis.
Yeah, Mitchell Cartwright, Mark Shaw and Justin Kaiser will round out the 21 bike field. Was it 5 weeks since Tara Morrison broke that collarbone and had it plated? Out here racing at Queensland Raceway. She has finished 7th in both of the races that we've seen so far this weekend. And
what do you think you need at this track? You need strength. You
need strength on the brakes, where you're putting 100%. All of that weight straight through a broken collarbone.
Yep, so, she's doing a good job out there, to be honest.
But we're ready to go racing for the final time this weekend for the Race and Road Supersport 300s. Supersport 300 is go. Good start from Knezevic with more wheelies off the line, but he manages to make his way forward and not just skywards as they make their way towards Alpine Stars corner. Good start for the Simpsons too, who look like they'll be well placed. One of them trying to sneak up the inside of Josh Newman as they made their way down through turn 1 for the first time. It also looks like both race DNA riders have got off to good starts as well. And is that Ryan Larkin in there as well on board bike number 68? That's good news, Steve. It looked like a pretty big crash for him on lap number 2 of race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. He just got caught out there. Larkin looks like he's got an issue there, though. Did you see that? He pulled over to the right and had a look over his shoulder. I don't know if that's him at the back of that pack now, but he certainly lost a lot of spots.
Yeah, he certainly did. He seems to be going okay now. I'm not sure if he was just looking to see where everyone was. It's the first lap ride. They're going to be right behind you all of the way. And as we make our way to turn 4 now, the big conga line making its way down there with lots of different variations of lines on the brakes into the corner. But once they get in there, they've all got to funnel into the same sort of line, round through Race and Road corner. And then very important to get the drive out of here down into the final corner. And look, already we've got Knezevic and also Josh Newman just starting to make a little bit of a breakaway, with Newman taking the lead. Nassif up the inside in a massive manoeuvre down there into Ducati corner. How much distance did he make on the run into the brakes there to try and get ahead? I think that was of Harry Watts and maybe Calvin Moylan as well in there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Will Nassif he's an underrated rider. He's a great rider, and I think we're going to be mentioning his name a lot more because he's right up there now, and he's put himself in the showcase of us as, commentators and that. He runs a little bit wide there, but keeps it pinned. So good to see. Josh Newman leads the way with a decent gap now between second place and Will Nassif. It's almost out to a second. Casey Middleton now takes that 3rd spot.
Well, that second race at Sydney Motorsport Park where he finished 2nd was the one where he really announced himself as a front runner in this championship. And doing a good job in this one as well is Will Nassif. So keep your eye on him on board his machine as they make their way down towards Honda corner now. You can see there Harry Watts just struggling to get his very tall frame tucked in behind the screen of the Champions Ride Day machine. So once again, we've got a good tyre battle in this. The Pirelli and Dunlop tyres at the front of this field. The majority of the field are on Pirellis, but we've got Harry Watts on board the Champions Ride Day machine on the Dunlop tyres. You can see him putting a lot of pressure on that front Dunlop as he makes his way through Ducati corner. But coming back on the inside, it was one of the Race and Road machines. That was Casey Middleton on board bike number 20. And then Nassif just trying to duck into the slipstream behind them. Then we've got a great battle behind them with Jesse Stroud, the Simpsons, and also Just trying to see who that was. Was it Calvin Moylan, I think it was, on the race DNA machine that was involved in that battle as well. And Tara Morrison not too far behind those guys as well. So Tara just looking to try and tag onto the back of that group of 4. The more they carve each other up, Steve, the more chance that Tara's going to have to jump onto the back of them.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of work to do because that group now has got a decent lead out front as well. So, you know, fingers crossed for her. She's 2.7 seconds off the lead at the moment. So it doesn't seem like much, but it's a pretty big ask. You can see her there just on her lonesome. Good to see Jess Stroud out there, though. He's doing a good job. He normally makes his way forward. I'm guessing he probably hasn't been to this track too much. New Zealand born, the son of Andrew Stroud. And boy, Andrew Stroud, he was a racer back in the day, I can tell you that. John Pelgrave, he's moved up a spot as well, just in front of Oliver Short. Oliver Short had a off earlier on in the weekend. Ryder Gilbert had a brilliant race too, but not working out for him this time round. Him and Ryan Larkin. Ryan Larkin's struggling as well. The guy that had that crash earlier on today is down at 15th, so that's not his normal position. Probably not happy with something on the bike.
Yeah, it's definitely not the position that we're used to seeing Ryan Larkin in. And also just a recap of the championship points coming.
Whoa,
that was out of the race.
Whoa, there we go.
Was that Middleton or Moylan? I couldn't see what it was. I think it might have been Moylan on bike number 27. So unfortunately, the 27 exits on the, well, it was the exit of turn 1, but then he ended up halfway through turn 2 by the time he actually stepped off the motorcycle. Down into turn 3 now, it is Knežević trying to find a way past Newman. Around the outside, Harry Watts, elbow on the ground on board the Champions Ride Day machine. Now here we go, here's a Ducati replay of the incident that involved bike number 27, just very wide on the exit of turn 1 onto the grass. Once he was out there, Steve, there was no saving that one.
Not really. He rode it out as long as he could, that's for sure. Gave it everything he had, but as you can see, that bike is going for a ride.
That's a very second-hand Ninja 400 there for Jason and the Race DNA team to sort out before the next round of the championship back in Queensland at Morgan Park in July. So Watts down the inside of Knežević to take up the running in turn 1, the Alpine Stars corner. Where's Newman? There he is in 3rd position. Keep your eye on Jesse Stroud on board bike number 127 as well. He is the new excitement machine in this category. He just seems to be able to put the bike anywhere he wants and come from the clouds. He took race victory in his first ever race in this category. First time he'd seen Sydney Motorsport Park, so certainly a very, very fast learner. First time he's been to Queensland Raceway, and he's now into the lead at a very tricky corner, AWF corner. Back on the inside, though, is Newman. He played that to perfection, and Tara Morrison is in the middle of the Simpson sandwich.
She certainly is, but she's definitely not where she wants to be. Those three need to work together and try and pull themselves up to this bunch up front, but you know, it's a big ask now. Oh, that's tight in there, but if they start mucking around like that, there's every opportunity for this group of 3.
Well, the South Australians could be on a charge here to come up to this lead group, because Josh Newman just had a bit of biff and barge, and he's gone from the lead of that group now back to 5th position. We're on lap 7, so we're coming round to complete 7 laps. So there'll be 3 laps to go as we come across the line now, Steve, out of Pirelli corner and onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start finish straight. Harry Watts leads by a couple of bike lengths over Valentino Knežević, who's moved up into 2nd place. Looking there at Oliver Short on board bike number 7. Bike looks absolutely gold as he makes his way down the start finish straight. But it's just the sunlight in Queensland here shining off the all-white machine as they make their way through Alpine Stars corner. Good 4-bike battle going on there with John Pelgrave, Ryder Gilbert and Lincoln Knight involved in that one as well.
Well, if you can stretch it out, now's the time, Harry Watts. Give it everything you can, because with just a few laps left, a couple of laps left in this one.
The slipstream, he got sucked up into the slipstream, and it is now the Race DNA machine of Casey Middleton that leads them out of turn 3.
It's almost impossible to break away, isn't it?
Well, you can see how much the slipstream affected down there, was that the riders just seemed to be able to claw him back in. Once again, we have a look at the top speeds, and they're all up into the high 180 kilometres an hour, 186, 187. But that slipstream advantage we saw was at Blue Crew Junior Cup, 10 k's an hour. In the Supersport 300, it's going to be probably more like 15.
Yeah, probably right. Probably right. Josh Newman looks for an up the side, inside move there, can't do it. sits behind Casey Middleton. Kawasaki 1, 2, 3 at the moment with Yamaha-mounted Valentino Nezovic in fourth.
And also Will Nassif on board a Yamaha as well. Mitch Simpson, Tara Morrison and Geordie Simpson, they're all Yamaha mounted as well. So
hey, look at the fairing on Jesse Stroud's bike. It looks loose, doesn't it? You see it moving around?
It certainly did look like it was moving around as he made his way down through Alpine Stars corner there, turn 1. If it's going to move around anywhere, it's going to be on this back straight when the bikes get up towards that 180, 190 kilometre an hour mark. Middleton using the slipstream to perfection there, but Newman did as well, but he's on the wrong side. But we've seen him come from that position before, Steve. He just seems to break in there much later than everybody else around the outside and takes the race lead.
Which he does. Good move.
Well, Nassif on a very narrow line on the way out of there. Can he utilise the slipstream of Stroud as they come down and into Honda corner? Here we go, 4 abreast. Make it 5 on the inside.
And Jesse Stroud,
he was the one that was making it 5 on the inside. That wasn't the line to get good corner exit speed, but somehow, Steve, he's been able to do it and got the better of Josh Newman as they went through Racing Road.
Yeah, good job. Good job, Jesse. He's definitely a competitive little rider.
As I said, he just seems to be able to put the bike anywhere and then come out of it smelling like roses. But it's Harry Watts that leads them now as they come round to get the last lap board. This will be 9 laps completed of the 10-lap journey. Last outing for the Racing Road Supersport 300 this weekend. Watts led onto the straight. Knežević led as they went across the line, and Middleton will lead them as they head down into turn 1. 3 changes of the lead on 1 start-finish straight and 2 corner combo.
Yeah, but Knežević will have noted that. So his plan should be to come onto the straight roughly about where he was last time and get to that finish line from wherever he was. He doesn't want to be a bit behind, he doesn't want to be a bit ahead because he'll get, slipstream, but he's good. He knows how to win. Is it Newman that's got the good position here because he's coming down the inside with the aid of the slipstream, put himself up a couple of extra positions. In fact, he's gone to the back of that group. Such was the outbraking as they came down into a AWMF corner on that occasion. This one has just really thrown everything about because the positions aren't changing as we've seen in the last couple of races. Harry Watts, big move on the brakes here going down the inside of Valentino. Can Valentino position the bike perfectly once again as they come out of Racing Road and head towards the final corner? He's in second. Up the inside is Middleton. Oh, what a move from Middleton. Well, put your seatbelt on. This last corner is going to be an absolute doozy. Here comes Newman down the inside. We know he's good on the brakes, but he's going to have to outbrake the very late break. Gone wide. Look at that, they've all gone wide. Harry Watts was the only one that was similarly somewhere near the racing line, and Newman now pulls into his slipstream as Harry Watts goes to the line. 3 different winners in 3 different starts for Racing Road 300 here at Queensland Raceway, and Harry Watts takes the race win, and that will then close back down a couple of points to Josh Newman, who finished in second. Of course, they were leading the championship, tied on points coming into this round, and Casey Middleton rounds out the top 3 in the podium. Jesse Stroud in 4th, and Valentino Knežević, race 2 winner, rounds out the top 5 with Will Nassif, that lead group of 6, the last rider across the line. Wow. And Tara Morrison getting the better of both of the Simpson brothers, Geordie and Mitch, to take 7th position. 3 7th places in your return after a plated collarbone. What a ride from Tara Morrison. As we mentioned earlier on, it was Brendan Clark here at this circuit that rose to fame and was racing 500 Grand Prix not long after. And his protege, Harry Watts, takes the race win by 0.084 of a second over Josh Newman. Casey Middleton rounds out the podium with Jesse Stroud in 4th, Knežević in 5th position, Will Nassif in 6th, Tara Morrison 7th, Geordie Simpson in 8th, Mitch Simpson's in 9th, and Ryder Gilbert rounds out the top 10. Lincoln 9th in 11th, Will Hunt in 12th, 13th was Ryan Larkin. Obviously had some problems after that earlier crash. John Pelgrave, Oliver Short in 15th. Michael Cartwright, Oscar Lewis and Mark Shaw in 18th. Yeah, great result from Mark Shaw there after driving up here by himself in the car. It was a long, long trip from Sydney. Calvin Moylan in 19th position, unfortunately had that massive crash down there at turn 2, and I think that Jason and the race DNA team will have a little bit of work to do to sort that one out. So the championship expanded a little bit in the middle of the weekend and closed up again at the end. So well, there you go. There is the championship points. 4 points between them now at the top of the championship. Newman on 171, Harry Watts on 167. Valentino's had a great weekend and he's moved up now to be only 10 points behind Harry Watts in 3rd position. Mitch Simpson's moved up to 4th. Geordie Simpson rounds out the top 5. Let's hear from our top 3. There with Chris.
Yeah, thank you. What a race. That was fantastic. I love watching this, the slipstreaming and these young blokes doing so well. But Casey Middleton, your second podium ever. Congratulations. What a race.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Yeah, look, we had a good start, got into the top 5, hung around there. That's where I wanted to be, and ended up clenching 3rd. I'd love to thank everyone who brought me out here, everyone who's supporting me, Race DNA, for supplying the bike, a beautiful bike. Yeah.
Congratulations, mate, and good luck at the next round.
Cheers, mate.
There we go, 3rd place. Great to see these guys back on the podium. But Josh Newman, championship leader, 4 points, I believe you lead this championship. You come in here tied first, so it must be a good weekend for you.
Yeah, awesome weekend to take the win yesterday and then 2 seconds today. Consistent results, so it's awesome to take the championship lead and also to get my first overall this weekend as well.
Really enjoyed it. Congratulations and good luck at the next round.
Thanks, mate.
There we go. It's so good, these young fellas, like I say, challenging each other, but the championship rivals, first and second. You close down your championship rival there, only 4 points between it now, like I just said. Great race.
You speak to
yeah, I was just trying to be consistent at the front the whole race. It's so good now. I'm only 4 points behind in the championship. I'd like to thank Dunlop and Champions Ride Day Race Team for getting the bike sorted really good. It was a good race.
And you are the only guy on the Dunlops at the front. Was it an advantage at the end?
Yeah, the Dunlops were really good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Well, thanks very much, Chris. Congratulations to Harry Watson. There's the Dunlop man, Robbie Bugden, who's also done plenty of fast laps around here at Queensland Raceway, there to take in the spoils. So, of course, remember, we've got a little bit of a break now before the next round of the Australian Superbike Championship at Morgan Park Raceway at Warwick in Queensland. The second of our back-to-back Queensland rounds on the 2nd to the 14th of July. Then we go to the Phillip Island circuit to start the run home for the championship finale at the Bend. Next weekend at Gilman in South Australia, ProMX Championship is on at the South Australian circuit, and the Simpson brothers are riding there as well. Also, congratulations to the Holder brothers, who this weekend created history, being the first siblings to ever win Super Speedway Grand Prix titles or rounds as well. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Tom Taparis, Mike Jones, who took out the Supersport and Superbike categories. We can't wait to catch you at Morgan Park. We'll see you there.